Gamecast from MSN.
Hi and welcome to Gamecast. That is the Tech and Gadgets gaming podcast.
Hello. Oh, you're
Thanks,
talking to the listeners.
Iain.
Sorry, I thought you were
was.
talking to us. Sorry.
But you can find us at tech.uk.msn.com as usual and let us know on the message boards what you think of the podcast after listening. So, first up, we'd like to extend our sincere apologies for being slightly delayed with this month's podcast. And the reason for that is, well, we've been all over the place for the last few weeks. Or that is, Iain and Nick have been all over the place. I've been right here the whole time. So, Iain, you've been in Monaco for a Capcom.
Yeah, that's right. I went to Monaco. I went to Monte Carlo, apparently the poshest place in the world, but it's like Blackpool with yachts. It's quite grim there. You've been there, haven't you?
I have been once, but I had no yacht.
Yeah, I just felt dirty. It was really grim, you know, and there's all these horrible, people when they're so tanned, they look like leather, just walking about this. It's not even a real beach, it's gravel. You'd think they could afford to get some sand in there and make it a real beach. But I was there selling myself a launch. It was a corporate job for the mighty Capcom, who I salute and love every game that they do. Bless them. So basically I had to do this weird presentation in front of about 50 or 60... I think they were mainly buyers from HMV and Tesco's and all these places that buy games of the new lineup for late 2008, early 2009 for Capcom, and one of the games had been in the last one I did last year in Amsterdam, which wasn't anywhere near as good. And it was, of course, the new Resident Evil, which is March. Is that the latest we have?
13th of March.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Spooky. Looks very, very sexy. I didn't get to play on it. They had a playable demo there. I got to see it. But they were there for 2 days. I was there for like 4 hours, and then I had to go straight home. So I didn't get to do much of the fun things that you do in Monaco. But I did get to see it. It looks brilliant. The graphics are stunning. I saw the Xbox 360 version. It's going to have online cooperative play, which is I think is a first for Resident Evil. It must be, yeah. Where you can, and also your friend can jump in at any time during the game, so you don't have to start together. You just you play a game. He sees you online. He comes in and joins in. It looks very, very exciting. Has there been any more press release about this game at all? Do you know, Jane? Have you seen anything?
There was a lot at E3. Nick was at E3. So
Oh, you were
There
at
was,
E3?
yeah, I was at E3, yeah, and they were demoing it there. They did a big walkthrough of it, like sort of walkthrough demo stuff.
Yeah.
Showing all the co-op. The co-op is the big thing.
Yeah, yeah.
This new Resi, it's all about that, and you have to do it to get anywhere in the game.
Right.
So even if you're playing it single player, you've got this other computer controlled character that goes along with you.
Apparently,
and you've got
I
to
know they
work with
always
that
say this
character.
about games, but the AI on the other character and the baddies is supposed to be spectacular as well. They always give out that line. We'll see what it's really like when we get to play it. But yes, the other person, if it's not a real person playing, is actually quite helpful.
Who are the co-op characters? Like, it's the protagonist, it's Leon.
There's a
Kennedy,
new,
right?
isn't there a
And
new
then-
character?
Is it the
There
girl?
is.
Or
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
else?
It's a female character. I can't remember her name.
I don't
but
think they've
Nick's
released
got,
it
Nick's gone
yet,
all technical
actually.
there. It's a female character. He means a girl. It's a girl. You can tell you work with computers.
All right, so there's a bird with it,
Well done. Touche.
and it's all set in Africa. But yeah, I forget her name.
It looks stunning. You know, every Resident Evil game it just takes the graphics up to the next level, and this looks amazing. The 360 version, I guess it's coming out on all of them, I suppose, isn't it? That's the way with these things these days. It's going to come on everything. And the heat haze when you go outside in the desert just looks incredible. It's going to be amazing. Did you get to have a go on it at all?
Sadly not. No, I couldn't fight my way through the
Yeah.
hordes. It was another situation of not really having much time to get hands on with the games.
Yeah.
While I was out there, because a lot of time was spent going around, watching demos, and going to various places to do that.
The thing that annoys me is they have been sitting on this for a long, long time. I saw a video of it, not a playable demo, but a video of it a year ago, August last year, the Capcom thing in Amsterdam, and you think, oh, now you're dragging it out even further to March. Come on, surely it must be ready enough for a pre-Christmas release. But I don't know if they're tinkering around with it, if there are problems or what. But it looks pretty wicked. There were loads of other games. I've got a whole list of games here. Let me go through some of these. Bionic Commando. Have you seen anything on that?
Heard a bit about it, not seen much about
Old
it.
8-bit game that they've updated for the next generation. Do we still call them next gen consoles?
I saw a couple of people refer to them as current gen. So we've passed that milestone now.
What's the next gen going to be like? Answers on a postcard, please. Looks all right, Bionic Commando. It looks okay. You've got a big Commando robotic bionic arm that shoots things. It's kind of your bog standard, really. It's MotoGP. I'm never a big fan of motorcycle games. I think unless it's Road Rash, where you used to. I think it was on the Spectrum, where you punch people. The motorcycle games have never really done it for me. Nick,
I got into the first one.
Yeah.
The first MotoGP, that is. But yeah, then after that, they just get a bit technical.
Yeah,
I don't like really technical racing.
It's like
games.
Formula One racing games. It's like I remember the first Formula One game that came out on the PS2. And I think it was one of the really early games on the PS2, and it looked amazing. But after an hour, you just realise, hang on, I can't play this. This is too technical. I'm changing the ratio of wheels, and it just makes no sense at all. MotoGP looked incredible. It sounded incredible. They had one guy whose whole job on the project was to go and record the sounds of motorcycles. How dull would that be? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, working computer programming. Oh, what are you doing on MotoGP? Oh, yeah, what are you doing on that? I'm recording the motorbike sounds. What a job. Just standing there. Rev it up again for us, will you, Nige? So, not good. Street Fighter 4. I played on the arcade cab of that. I'm not a massive Street Fighter fan, but it was brilliant having a button bash and going mental, which is great if you're button bashing at someone else who's button bashing. But as soon as someone steps up who knows how to play it and knows the combos, then you're stuffed, really. I was playing some lad who worked for Capcom called Leo, and I was gone in seconds. It's going to be massive. It's always massive, isn't it, Street Fighter?
Oh, yeah.
It's always massive. Dark Void, which is the one... Is that the one? Yeah, it's the one where they call it vertical combat. What it means is you can fly up and down and shoot things, pretty much. You've got a jetpack. This looked brilliant. This did look really, really exciting. It had a mixed preview in the Edge, but they were saying at this thing that they had a really early, beta copy of it, and that this is a much more developed version of it. So you've got a jetpack. And it's so hard to explain. You can sort of fly up and then change the perspective of where you're looking. I realise by me moving my hands as I am, doing nothing for you here or the people at home listening to this on their MP3 players at all. But there was none of that at E3 then, Nick? The
Dark Void, passed me by.
Really?
It probably was there, but, there's so much there that you don't really get to see all of it.
They're pushing it as it's going to be the next big thing. Dead Rising on the Wii. Chop till you drop.
Yeah, that was in Edge, actually. I was reading about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, listen, you're running around killing zombies, fantastic.
Sure.
Dead Rising is a great game to play for 2 hours. And then you realise that the save mechanism is awful. You've got to go all the way back to... There's only one room, I think, maybe 2 rooms in the original Dead Rising where you can save. So you go out of the supermarket, whatever it's, shopping centre, I haven't paid it for ages, and you kill all these zombies with baseball bats and fish and whatever, and you get yourself a nice snazzy suit. But then if you can't just switch it off or run around for 5 minutes trying to find a save point, you've got to then fight your way all the way back to the restroom, whatever it is, which was my big...
Yeah, I seem to remember reading that they're improving that.
Oh, really?
Wii, hopefully.
Did you read anything else about the Wii version?
I think they had to do a lot of work because obviously the Wii hasn't got the same graphics capabilities as the Xbox or whatever. And
I'm surprised that Nintendo, because Nintendo are quite strict on the I know they've changed their rules slightly, but they're always slightly anti, aggressively gory games, aren't they?
Maybe
yeah,
I don't know if that's changing
dark.
that Mad World at E3. That's a Wii game, and that's horrifically violent. I was
going to bring that up because it's the Wii is traditionally Mario and fluffy bunnies, really.
Yeah.
But now it's getting these really dark games like Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Mad World is just evil.
Because I remember for a long, long time, up until about the GameCube, that Nintendo were dead strict about what you could and you couldn't show. And if it was too gory, it got... I think Mortal Kombat was the big one where the Sega had the gory version, Nintendo didn't, and they tamed everything back. And in the GameCube, they kind of changed it slightly. But is it Wii? Is it anything goes on the Wii now? It's all blood and guts?
Seems like it. And then there was the big surprise was the Grand Theft Auto game for the DS.
Well, yeah.
No one saw that one coming. You heard about that?
I'm swallowing my fizzy water in amazement. There's a Grand Theft Auto game on the DS.
Be around Christmas called Chinatown Wars.
Really?
Yeah, and that's pretty much all we know. Like, it'll be in Liberty City again.
Yeah.
I suspect it'll have to be a top-down deal because you can't have the DS do the free roaming sandbox 3D thing.
Can't
right?
you? Can you? Mate, well, I think you possibly could.
Maybe. Like kind of like Animal Crossing, but with cars and shooting.
It could be like that. That'd be nice.
An Animal Crossing version of GTA, awesome.
Oh, well, listen,
buy it.
you know, I don't like when people say, "Oh, you know, Nintendo and Wii, it's a kids' console," because it's not at all. It is slightly more family orientated, but it has got some, you know, proper grown-up games. But if it's getting blood, guts, gore, and Grand Theft Auto, then that could be quite exciting. But you were at E3, Nick.
I was at E3.
Where was this?
I had to go to Los Angeles, sadly.
You had to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I was in Los Angeles at the weekend. Do you hate it there? Because I'll be honest, I despise it.
Yeah, I know where you come from. I certainly couldn't live there unless I was obscenely rich.
Yeah.
Basically, if I could afford to buy an apartment in Malibu or something, then great. But otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty intense place.
I went walking because I forgot, of course, in LA no one walks and everything is miles away. So I was in West Hollywood and I said to my girlfriend, we got really early, jet lagged, we're going to walk to Rodeo Drive. And I was using my iPhone with the map on there and I read it wrong. And we ended up walking for an hour and 3/4 and ended up on a main road. And I thought, how the hell... I don't like that place. Irrelevant to the E3, Nick. What did you see?
Well, I went to the main things were all the big briefings. Went to all of those and saw everything that the publishers want to show you there.
Yeah.
And then went around seeing stuff like saw Fable 2 being demoed.
Right.
Halo Wars.
Halo Wars. What's Halo Wars?
It's like Halo crossed with Age of Empires. Basically, like this kind of strategy thing, and you've got millions of like little Halo dudes, Master Chiefs running around. And
any good?
If you like that kind of
it's
game,
a mixing
maybe.
of the genres, isn't it? Are the Halo fans going to dig that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's it's taking the whole thing in a kind of franchise direction, where you can make anything out of Halo. And yeah, it's got its very special niche, I reckon, for real strategy fans. But they seem to have tried to make it like almost a casual game. You know, like everyone's about casual games.
Yeah.
In that they've made it sort of like the whole system of control system really, really basic.
Yeah.
Really simple to get to grips with, which is great. But then you want depth in those games.
You want
as
kind
well.
of depth in it. Okay. What else did you see?
Saw Resident Evil going on. Fallout 3, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Prince of Persia looked awesome as well. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What was so good about it?
Just looked fantastic. They didn't have one that you could actually play. Sadly,
was there anything there that you could play, or was it all a little bit just? Oh, have a look at this. Oh no, don't touch it. It's not finished yet. It was...
Yeah, there's a bit of that, but no, I got hands on with like Fallout 3 and the Fable 2, Halo Wars, all of those ones. Yeah, could play those. Prince of Persia.
How come you weren't at this shindig? What's going on there?
I could have gone. Glamorous Leipzig. I might be going.
What's happening at Leipzig?
The Games Developers Conference, the GDC. That's end of this month.
Without being rude to games developers, I love them. That sounds very dull.
Doesn't sound as glamorous as LA. Glamorous and grimy as LA.
It's a better conference, more fun conference than E3. Apparently.
Why? I've never even heard of this.
It's still got all the glitz and the glamour, and you've still got all the fans going.
Yeah.
Because the thing with E3 now is they've split it. So the one that I went to is just for the press.
Oh, that's good. You don't want to hang out with real people, do you, Nick?
But the thing is, they scale it all back, and you don't get any of all the fancy stuff, like all the big sort of giant screens and flashing lights.
I didn't see much of the E3, but someone sent me an email saying that Nintendo were laughed at E3. Is that right? That they gave a presentation? Maybe I've got this wrong. That Nintendo, apparently it's on YouTube. I must check it out. They gave a presentation that was so that everyone just kind of went, what was the point of that? Did you hear anything about this, or is this a mystery?
I don't get that. I thought Nintendo's briefing was pretty good.
What did they say? I'll tell you if it was any good.
Well, they had...
I'll be the judge of that, Nick. Come on.
Let's put it to the test then. No, they ended up with this snowboarding game they were going to do on the balance board, so that was quite cool. But then
it's not that. Come on, I've played on those kind of board things in a snowboarding game. That's not going to be any good, really, is it?
I don't know. I quite liked it, but maybe I'm easily pleased.
I've just bought SSX Tricky for the GameCube for 99 pence on eBay. Fantastic.
So it'd be ace playing something like that on a balance board,
but
wouldn't it?
I always find with these peripherals, do they really add anything to it? Sometimes the steering wheels were never any good. I remember getting a steering wheel for my PS1, and it was absolute guff. It didn't add anything to the game at all. Do they ever add anything to it?
I think there's something to be said for gun peripherals. I think
good point.
You know,
Yes.
I was always amused by the Wii Zapper. Have you seen it? It's for the Wii remote.
Yeah.
And it's not so much a gun peripheral as a plastic case you put your Wiimote into.
Oh, yes.
To turn it into a gun.
Yeah.
Fair enough, you know, whatever.
But you still press the button on the remote.
You still press the button on the remote.
Trigger?
No, it's just a case, I believe.
I bet they're about 20 quid as well. I will happily make those out of some toilet tube rolls. That will.
Good peripherals though.
Yeah.
Rock Band. I just got Rock Band the other day. You couldn't play that without peripherals.
You love the Rock Band.
I do love Rock Band.
His face is grinning. He loves it. He's gone all boyish here. So have you got the whole kit, the drums and everything?
Yeah. Drums, guitar, and microphone. Yeah, it's all good.
And around your house?
Yeah.
Can we come round and have a go?
Yeah.
I know
we can start a band.
We could do. I was slightly dissing it last month, but I'm keen to have a go on it and build up some wicked skills.
The drums are awesome.
Yeah, I feel a little bit.
Fight for the drums.
Yeah, okay. What else did Nintendo have to offer?
Well, that was it. Then they went into their hardware they're bringing out,
right.
Which is the Wii Speak, which is going to be like a mic that you put on your table. It's like a conference call mic, so you can talk over the internet. So at the moment, if you're playing Mario Kart online, you can't talk to anyone. You're not feeling that,
It's only about 3 years to realise you need a microphone when you're playing online multiplayer. Well done, Nintendo.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
All right, but it does sound useful. I'm being slightly critical of the length of time it's taken them, but it does sound useful.
The other thing was this is maybe where people were a bit sniffy. It was the Motion Plus that plugs into the bottom of your Wii remote and arguably makes it do what it should have done in the first place, which is be accurate. And
really,
they made a really big thing about look at the accuracy of it, and obviously you have to go out and buy this extra to put in to do that.
Maybe this is what my friend was referring to then. Did none of the Nintendo people say, and we apologise that your Wiimote doesn't actually do this properly already?
No, none of that.
So that was Nintendo.
Yeah, but the big thing was that was where they announced the GTA game, and that was one that got everyone going, oh wow, because GTA on a Nintendo, you wouldn't have thought of.
Anything else that happened there that caught your attention, or anything that was brilliant, or anything that you thought, what's that? That looks a bit rubbish.
I got excited by Fallout 3. Going back to that, I thought that looked really cool. I was a bit bemused by Far Cry 2.
Okay, I've read about this. Go on. What was bemusing?
It looked like a really good game, but the whole point of Far Cry, I thought, was to have all these sort of like otherworldly powers going on in it, and there aren't any.
Oh,
in Far Cry 2. It's like, why is it Far Cry 2 then?
Isn't the gimmick in Far Cry 2 that it's kind of completely free reign? You can go wherever you want, as long as you go wherever you want within certain perimeters that they have set, so that you follow a storyline.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, mission-based type thing.
Yeah. I loved the original Far Cry, and then I got to one. I must have nearly completed it. I got to one monster where I just couldn't kill, and I spent a month trying to kill it. And I thought, stuff it. This is too hard. I was going online for cheats, and I couldn't do it at all. But I read a thing about Far Cry 2, that said it's good, but maybe not quite as good as they're making out to be. Yeah,
I think that'd be fair. It just looked a bit like a lot of other things that I'd seen that were similar. A lot of other shooters.
I think this is the thing. Do you know what? Maybe you two can help me, because I'm bored of computer games at the moment. This is the thing. I'm bored, and I need a new computer game. I've been playing a lot of Chucky Egg this month on my BBC. I bought BBC Master off of eBay. It's brilliant. I've been playing a lot of Chucky Egg. I've been playing Las Vegas. What am I talking about? Rainbow Six, Las Vegas, and Worms on the Xbox 360. Cool. And I went into a game shop today. Nothing grabbed me. They're all kind of. There's a lot of much of the muchness. There's a lot of Call of Duty clones. There doesn't seem to be anything at the moment there I thought, I must have that. I've read mixed reviews of Alone in the Dark, where it says starts off good, bit too linear, then the ending is just you're just doing this pointless thing that is dull. Is there anything out there I should be? Geometry Wars 2. What? Played Geometry Wars?
Good. That is good.
It's
awesome.
I missed out on the Geometry Wars phenomenon. Completely missed out on it. It's
get into it. Yeah, because you can get it. It's on Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah.
So you get it for like 800 points, whatever that is, about $5 or something. And it's awesome. It's just like proper retro style. Asteroids on acid, basically. It's just mental. This shit
Wow, he's
hanging around.
the asteroids on acid comparison. All right.
It's really,
sort of
really good.
hallucinatory, right?
Yeah, it's just there's all this mad visuals going on, but
Yeah.
in the centre of it, you're just this tiny little ship shooting everything that comes piling onto the
I'll
screen.
have some of that.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And the new one has just come out at the start of this month. So you can download that now, and it's got loads of new modes. Really,
I
really
shall
good.
check that out. Now, listen, I just confess, I've been playing Chucky Egg mainly this month. Jane, don't give me any. Oh, I've been moving because you've moved now.
Yes.
What have you been playing, please?
Age of Conan,
Oh, really?
PC gaming. Oh yeah.
Now, do you like it? Be honest.
I do,
But
but it made me want to play Warcraft, which is a dangerous path.
I
to go
got given a copy of it ages ago, like a press copy, and it took me ages to install it, and then I had to download something that took
Oh, yeah.
3 hours to download
Long
the
old
update,
install.
and then it muffed up, and I had to do it all again. And after 20 minutes of running around that beach, I just thought it reminded me of when I used to play EverQuest years ago, but I played EverQuest about 6 years ago. That was better then than this is now. It just felt slow and clunky. The graphics weren't anything spectacular. I thought the controls were awful.
The controls weren't great, perhaps. Graphics, maybe you need a better PC. Just gonna, throw that out there.
Say, well, okay, cheeky. But again, I think I've said before that these games I don't think are necessarily for me.
Sure.
But are you going to stick with it, or are you going to?
I'll stick with it. I'll see where I can get with it. It's just it hasn't charmed me the way Warcraft did.
I say these games
Yet,
aren't for me.
yet.
Last month I was slagging off terribly the Final Fantasy series, and when I went into this game shop today, Final Fantasy 11 on the Xbox was the only game that I held up and thought, well, there's something about this. I tell you what tempted me. And this is a terrible reason to buy a game. I'm glad I didn't. As I said this, on the back, I always look for multiplayer: 1 to 8 players, 1 to 16, 1 to 10,000 plus. It said. And I thought, oh yeah, that's a little bit dirty. But is it? Have either of you seen it or played it? Is it just going to be the same boring old Final Fantasy nonsense?
Don't ask me about Final Fantasy.
You're not a fan, are you?
No, I'm not into.
Because if it's going to be more like EverQuest, which I loved, then I wouldn't mind getting it. But if it's going to be just like Final Fantasy 7, I'm bothered really.
Yeah, I'm not a fan at all. I mean, they did a trailer demo for Final Fantasy 13 at E3, which looked beautiful when it came on. It was just like really, really stunning. Looked fantastic. I still don't want to play it because it's just not my type of game. You have to be a certain type of gamer to get into those.
What type of gamer do you have to be, Nick?
Careful.
Yeah,
I'll let you off.
Yeah, you can ask Jane that 'cause she
Yeah.
likes them.
If someone, well, in that case, you have to be an attractive young lady to play them, I guess, is the thing there. If someone can go on the message board and tell me if it's worth getting or not, I'd be very, very happy, please, because I don't want to waste my money. What have you been playing, Nick? Anything?
Geometry Wars 2.
Geometry Wars.
Rock Band.
Yeah.
I've got the missus into it as well. So,
really?
Yeah. She's there on the guitar while I'm drumming. It's all good.
It would be good, but I know that I'd get it and I'd have like a weekend of it, and then I wouldn't ever use it again, and it would just sit in the corner. And my girlfriend would be well up for it. She'd love it, definitely. She loves Guitar Heroes, but it would just take up a whole corner of the flat, and it would be.
I am wondering that because I did only get it last weekend, so I don't know how long the honeymoon period will last.
All right. Well, when we speak to you in a month or however many weeks it is, we will find out. I want you to log how many times you've played it, and we'll find out if you're still playing it.
I'll start a Rock Band diary.
Oh, yeah. Please do. I just bought, saying that, but I did buy a game in the shop. I bought for the PSP. I never buy PSP games, but I'm going on a few flights again. And I bought Impossible Mission, which is an old Commodore 64 game. Brilliant. You get the Commodore 64 version on there, you get a reskinned version of that, and you get a brand new special PSP version for it as well. All for 17 quid second hand. Thank you very much. I'll have some of that. So that'll be good.
Is it a good game though? Or have you just got 3 versions of a really bad game?
I can't remember. It's been about 15 years since I've played it. I'm hoping it's a good game. I remember it being a good game, but I love my retro stuff, so it'll keep me happy. Very quick. Oh, we've got some stuff from the forum, have we?
Feedback.
Do
Yes.
I want to read this?
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah,
And
I think you should,
It
because
might-
first of all, there'll probably be a criticism there that I talk too much and you talk too little, and secondly, it hurts me. It hurts me reading those
Right.
those comments. So yes, Jane, away you go.
I very much enjoyed Gamecast 1 and 2, so I've got to say congrats on them. However, the last one was just flippant and controversial slatings on overrated games. Sure, that's entertaining, but at least you could have played all the games you are commenting on and to some degree of completion.
I read that. I think I had played all the games I've commented on.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah, but I don't. You don't need to play them to any degree of completion. If a game doesn't grab you, I did read that comment. If the game doesn't grab you, I played BioShock, which we talked about. I played that for about 3 hours. It was a rubbish game. Fact. I played Lost Planet for about 45 minutes. It was rubbish. If a game doesn't grab you in the first hour, that's long enough to give a game, isn't it? You know, you have a little bit of a learning curve, but then you should be getting some pleasure out of it. So, no, I dispute that. I think I may be wrong, but I'm sure I played all of the games I slagged off. I would never slag something off that I'd never seen or played. That's not my style.
Okay, that was from Ali Cat, by the way, 3 eyes.
Hello, Ali Cat.
And he or she also says, for instance, brushing off Metal Gear Solid 4, not having played it, then why comment, why bring it into the show at all? It's almost like you're having a little dig at something Sony-related. Sure, you're not saying anything really negative, but you're implying it isn't worth playing. Now, I actually played Metal Gear Solid since then.
Okay.
And I think it's really good. Not everyone will think it's really good, but I enjoy it a lot.
Why do you think it's so good? What's so good about it?
It's quirky and it does have those incredibly long cutscenes, but it just does some really, really unusual things. And if you like playing games to be surprised to see things you haven't seen before, then it's worth a look on those grounds alone. All right, Steve36 says, I don't understand Ian's comments. The main reason people apparently don't buy the PS3 is the lack of games. Yeah. Ian makes the comparison between the PS2 and PS3 in his article. This is of a while back. And says, it looks great and all that, but where are the games? Yet, all the Xbox exclusives have been trashed in the podcast. That's podcast number 2. Okay. So basically the consoles are equal on games in a way. So he's saying that because you didn't like BioShock, which was the Xbox exclusive. Right. It no longer has.
God, we're still talking about the whole PS3
no
thing not being. Listen, I'm not saying it because I'm paid by MSN to do this. You know, I can say what I want about PlayStation, but the PS3 it costs too much money. It's got Blu-ray, which I don't think is going to catch on. It hasn't got anything. Doesn't do anything spectacular that the Xbox 360 isn't doing already. That's the point.
Okay,
I'm
going to leave that there because it's highly contentious.
Yeah, let's not
and
go
we
down.
don't want to start that one again.
Let's not go down. Nick's not saying anything. Look,
no,
he's keeping it buttoned. Well done, sir. That's what I need to learn is your diplomacy and not saying anything.
So this is all yours. This little bit of territory.
It's all on you.
Let's not go down there
Pipkin
again.
says, "Man, that was depressing. I thought you were going to move on to underrated games to balance it out. It's true. We just talked about."
Well, no, that is true. But this is what I was thinking, that next month I would like to do the top 10 underrated games of all time. So if people listening to this could go onto the forum. What's the forum address again, Jane, just so they know?
Go to tech.uk.msn.com and then come to the message boards, please.
Lovely. And give us your suggestions for the top 10 underrated games of all time. We'll compile a list. And I will do my best after that, if I can, to get hold of them and play them as well. And we'll see if they are any good or not.
Okay. Right, our good friend Chris Jones, who you may or may not remember.
Hello, Chris Jones.
Yes. He has some nice things to say. He says, Ian and I seem to share an undying love of Rainbow Six Vegas.
Well done,
Very nice.
sir. Well done.
And once again, keep up the good work. A month is too long in between the casts. Perhaps one every 2 weeks would be better, so the information could be more up to date.
Well, this is
we'll
like
see
6 weeks between casts.
Yeah.
He's going to be very upset.
Ouch. Okay, Northeast Decoy says... I think you've misinterpreted my comments as criticising you and the podcast. Certainly not the case. This was because we answered his feedback in the...
Okay, yes.
Okay, I like the podcast a lot. All I want is to hear more podcasts. Can't have too much of a good thing right. I have to say I'm surprised by your aggressive reply, but hey, if that's the way you perceive my comments, at least I only have to listen to them once a month.
Well, so then he contradicts himself. What's he saying there? The thing is, we could do this. We could do this twice a month. You lot wouldn't want to pay me twice a month, and I think if we did it, it wouldn't be as good. Okay, well, listen, thank you for the comments. We do enjoy them all. Do go on the forum this month and give us your top 10 underrated games, and we will try and put that. Nick, I guess it's all back to yours for a little bit of Rock Band, is it?
Yep, bring it on.
Good lad. Thank you, Jane. Do the blurb.
Excellent. Okay, right. Well, thanks for listening to Gamecast, the Tech and Gadgets gaming podcast, and come over and let us know what you think on the message boards at tech.uk.
I think you're going to say come over to Nick's and play Rock Band. Don't invite them over. No, don't. He'll go mad. They'll get food on his carpet. Don't worry, Nick.
As long as they bring beer, I don't mind.
Sorry, we interrupted you.
That's tech.uk.msn.com. Thank you.
Gamecast from MSN.